there, my name's Anne. I'm one of the vets here at New Plymouth Vet Group, and today we're going to be talking about arthritis. What is arthritis? Itis means inflammation, arth means joint, so it's inflammation in the joint, and there's joints all through the body, and an animal can experience arthritis in any number of them. Often it's really tricky to pick up whether they've got arthritis, so today we're going to be talking about what you could be looking for and how we can help them. So what causes arthritis? Well, there's lots of different, it's quite complex, but there's a lot of different causes. A lot of the time weight has a lot to do with it, so we'll talk about that later. Sometimes it's secondary to hip dysplasia or elbow dysplasia, so the way the joints are formed, they're often not formed quite correctly and it causes a little bit of instability. Age has a big factor as well, so the older your pet is, the more likely they are to develop arthritis, especially if they've had quite a vigorous young life. So what are the signs you see when you're looking at your pet and wondering whether they've got arthritis? Well, dogs and cats are quite different, so we'll treat them quite differently. Dogs, it can be a lot more obvious, obviously if they're limping, they're in pain, but sometimes it's a little bit subtle, so you might find that they don't jump on the ute like they used to, or they think twice about getting up on the couch. They might look at some stairs and go, oh, I don't know if I really want to go down them, and they take their time. Sometimes they might bite or chew at a certain part of their body. They don't often yelp or cry because they're a lot tougher than we are. So you've got to look out for those subtle signs. Sometimes people say they can hear clicking when they're walking. That can be normal, that can be just ligaments and things like that, but actually sometimes it's their joints clicking, so definitely if you hear anything you're worried about, book in with a vet and we can take a look. Cats, on the other hand, they don't often like to limp. They will hide. I mean, they sleep 90% of their day anyway. So one thing that you will notice is they often get a bit more grumpy. They might sometimes they might groom a lot in one area, but other times they might actually stop grooming at all because it's too hard for them to bend around, and you notice they're getting lots of mats on the back of their legs or their tail base. They often might change their eating habits. So you might find they just go off their food. So it's all very subtle with cats, and oftentimes we have to examine them, put our hands on them and feel their joints, and often take x-rays to diagnose whether they've got arthritis. So you've got a pet with arthritis, we know this, you've been to see your vet and we've talked about it. Now you're probably wondering what we can do about it. So there's lots of different things we can do, talking about weight management, exercise regimes, different joint supplements or diets. We can talk about pain relief because they are in pain, through to other alternative therapies. So we'll go through all of that and hopefully you'll get a bit of advice. So a lot of the dogs we see, especially dogs, but actually cats as well, with arthritis are often overweight. This is often the hardest thing for owners to deal with, but it's actually the cheapest thing because it's free, and it's really the most helpful thing you can do for your pet is to help them lose weight, and it will take the stress off their joints, but also fat itself is inflammatory. So if you reduce the fat in their diet, in their body, their joints will thank you. So a lot of this is talking about controlled exercise. They actually need to move. They're sore and they don't want to, and you feel bad, but it's best for them to move. But keep it regular. Keep them dogs on grassy surfaces if you can. Avoid the pavement pounding. Control them. So don't let them off the lead, because that's when they'll go off and hurt themselves and they'll chase other dogs and do silly things. So keep them on the lead, regular walks every day. Swimming is wonderful, so if your dog loves to swim, encourage it, but try and be careful about where they're swimming. Don't let them stumble over rocks trying to get into a river, and if the beach is particularly rough, maybe avoid it that day. Cats, exercising is not so easy. We can't put a lead on them and take them for a run, so that's a little bit more tricky. But so with them, diet is most important, getting the weight off them that way. So what we need to do is look at some sort of, we've got lots of options. We've got diets with joint supplements, we've got diets that help them lose weight, we've got diets that do all of that. So please come in and talk to us and we'll point you in the right direction. So there's lots of supplements that can help your cat or dog when they've got arthritis. Most important thing is looking at like the fatty acids, but also you're looking at chondroitin and glucosamine and certain things that you can really add to the diet to help them be a lot more comfortable. Alternatively, we actually have diets, Hills JD or Royal Canin Mobility, that have all these goodies in them, and they are excellent. They're balanced diets, easy to feed, generally quite yummy, and you've got it all in there. So if you need some more advice, please come and chat to us. So what can you do at home to help your dog or cat that's got arthritis? The most important thing is warmth, soft bedding, things like if you've got a dog that likes to tear around the house and you've got slippery wooden floors, maybe putting some rugs down or carpets so they don't slip and slide. Ramps if they really like to get on the bed with you at night but getting up there is too hard. Creating some steps or some ramps so they can get up there themselves and down. Things like if you're cuddled up at night in front of the TV, getting a wet bag and holding it over a joint that's particularly sore. These sorts of things really make a huge difference. Looking at their bedding, if a dog has to climb into a bed, that's a bit tricky, so something they can just walk onto and it's soft and it's supportive. These sort of things really help. So once we've diagnosed arthritis in your pet, we usually talk about pain relief because no one likes to see their pet in pain. There's a lot of different options and your vet will go over this with you in your consult, but just a bit of an overview. We've got anti-inflammatories. We all reach for them when we're sore, and there are some for dog and cats as well. They're a mainstay and they work. They really help. When they are on regular medication like this, we do require them to have a blood test. Anti-inflammatories have other effects in the body if they're not used correctly, and we need to know that the body is okay to take this medication. So they need these blood tests every 6 months and a checkup. But there are lots of other alternative sort of medications available as well. We've talked about the joint supplements. There's also a monthly injection that works very, very well for a lot of our pets. So just come and have a chat to us. We're here to answer any questions, but the most important thing is giving your pet that quality of life. So you may be wondering if there's anything else you can do to help support your pet, and there certainly is. So one thing we do offer here at New Plymouth Vet Group is laser therapy or even acupuncture for some pets that would work. There's also a person in town, Kate Hocking, that offers hydrotherapy, and that's a really great sort of support that you can use for your dogs, especially recovering from surgery and things like that. So definitely come in and ask. There's lots of ways we can give your pet that quality of life. So thank you very much for listening. I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, please call us on 758 4006 or come in and have a chat.